guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're good. Today's video is going to be a tutorial stroke first impressions using a ton of NYX products that I picked up while I was away. If you see my haul video, you'll see that I picked up a ton of makeup, but a lot of that was also from NYX. So I'll make sure to link it in the description bar below if you haven't seen that and you want to see what I picked up while I was away in South Africa. I decided to do a almost full face tutorial using NYX products. Most of which I purchased while I was away, but a few of them I already had, so I've incorporated as much as I can in terms of NYX. So if you haven't already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. Do it now. Yes. And give the video a thumbs up if you think that it was a good one. You can of course follow me on all my socials. I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Make sure to go follow me over there. So let's just get straight into the tutorial. Alright guys, starting off with my face completely bare apart from my eyebrows. I'll link as per usual my detailed eyebrow routine in the description bar below, so you can go check that out to see how I do my eyebrows. So I'm gonna go in and prime my eyelids, and usually I would use a concealer or a white foundation for this, but I have the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk, so that's what I'm going to use. It's basically just a white big pencil. I haven't used this before, so let's see how this goes. Okay, so it feels quite creamy and waxy. So I'm just kind of swiping that on onto my eyelid, and then I'm going to just take it a little bit higher as well before I blend that out. Then I'm grabbing a fluffy, dense angled brush, and then I'm going to buff all of that out. Okay, so that's what I look like now, crazy, with that all buffed in. For my eyes, I am going to be using the NYX Ultimate palette. It looks like this in the shade Warm Neutral, so it's just all these really pretty warm colours. I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush into this shade right here and use that to just bring some more colour up to my brow bone. For my transition colour, I'm going into this kind of orangey shade right down here at the bottom. Just switching brushes to one that's a bit more domed. And I'm just going to work that, ooh, that's a pretty colour. I'm going to work that in to the crease area. These shadows are blending really, really nicely together. I'm loving this colour. It's kind of like a warm terracotta. Oh guys, I forgot to zoom you in. Let me bring you in a bit closer. There we go. You can see that now. Awesome. Yeah, so as I was saying, they're blending really nicely into each other. And I'm getting a really nice colour payoff with that. I'm just going to switch brushes to one that's even more fluffy and then blend that out a bit more. You know how we do, blend, blend, blend. Okay, so that's my transition colour laid down. And now I'm gonna go into this colour right here, which is kind of not showing up on camera, but it is a deep, warm, kind of rusty shade. Really nice. And I'm just gonna work this again into the crease, but just slightly lower than the colour that I first laid down. Okay, switching brushes again to a pencil brush, and now I'm going to go into this brown shade right here. I'm hoping that it's going to come off a little bit darker than that. It does look darker in the pan, so I'm hoping I get the colour payoff with that one. And if not, then I'll top it up with this one in the corner. But let's try it out first. And this I'm going to just work into the outer V. I'm getting a hint of colour, but not as much as I would like, so I'm just going to darken it up with the other shade. There we go, that's giving me more of what I wanted. It's kind of like, that darker shade is kind of like a purpley brown with grey undertones. Switch brushes to help blend all of that out. No harsh lines, no harsh lines. Do you know what? I thought I wanted to do just a classic smoky eye, but now I think I want to do a halo eye. So I'm going to take the same colour that I've just added on, the two shades right there, and then work it into the inner corner. I think I want to do a halo eye. Change of plan. This sometimes happens. No cause for alarm. Haven't done a halo eye in a while. There was a minute when I was obsessed with them. Haven't done one for a little bit. And then because it is a halo eye, I need to just kind of bring that colour all the way round so that we get that lovely depth. I'm going in with an even tinier pencil brush and just almost drawing a line at first of that colour and then blending it across. I feel like I may have lost some of that orange, so I'm going to go back into the orange shade and then use that to diffuse up at the top. So I want to lay down the base for that halo eye, and I'm going to just get a little bit of concealer onto the back of my hand. I'm just using the LA Girl concealer in Fawn and a flat synthetic brush to pack on some colour right in the centre of my eye. I'm going to draw a vertical I'm going to draw a vertical line down from my crease, and then kind of just taper that out a little bit. You want to try and create the kind of shape that you want for your halo eye, but don't worry about it being perfect, because once you lay down the shimmer shade, of course you'll come back and help blend all of that together. I'm kind of doing a big U shape. Then going in with another flat shaded brush and some Fix Plus. Can't go in with a shimmer without a bit of Fix Plus. There is a really pretty kind of rosy pink shade right there, and I think that's the one that I'm going to use to set down on top of that concealer. I'm just going to load up my brush. It's pretty. Okay, so I've laid down that colour now, and then the most important thing to do next is to go back into that shade right there and then help to blend in those edges so that it doesn't look too harsh. And this time I'm not darkening it up because I want there to be a little bit of a transition between this bit and the outer bit. So I'm going to stop there for the eyes. I'll zoom you back out and then we can go into the skin, and then we'll come back to the eyes after that. Okay, so back onto skin, and to prime my skin I'm going in with the NYX Angel Veil Primer. I didn't buy this in my haul, I had it from a few months ago, but because I'm doing the NYX thing I thought I'd use it. It's a pore refining primer. So I'm just going to dot that on my face where I have trouble with pores, which is the lower half of my face, on my cheeks, on my nose. It does give a bit of a purplish, bluish grey cast, but don't worry about that. Now that's rubbed in, I'm going to follow that on with my Becca Primer, the Ever Matte, I always forget this name, Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector, and I'm just going to dot this in my T-zone where I get oily, so forehead, nose, cheeks, and chin. Okay, so that's me all primed. Now for foundation, we're going in with the NYX Total Control Foundation. I am in the shade Deep Cool 22. I'm just going to shake that up really well, because it does say to shake it up, and it is quite a liquidy foundation. And then we're going to go in with this. I've always wanted to do this. Instagram has us doing some mess, you know. I'm just like, I've always wanted to do this. So the way that this foundation is supposed to work, before I get too excited, the way this foundation is supposed to work is you add more drops if you want more coverage. So 1 drop is kind of like a sheer coverage, 2 would maybe be like a medium, and 3 would be like high coverage. I'm just gonna put on what I think I need to put on. So let's see. Instagram hype, here we go. So I'm just putting on 1 drop onto all of my key areas. And grabbing this flat top kabuki brush. Needs a bit of Fix Plus just to help that along. And then we're going to just buff this in. So that is super lightweight. I've been saying that about a lot of foundations lately, but honestly, I think companies have come to the realization that nobody's trying to feel all of that foundation on their face. I'm not about feeling that on. This looks like skin. What's going on? Guys, this looks amazing. I want to add a teensy bit more coverage here on my cheeks. So I'm not even going to drop that, I'm just going to swipe that on. A bit more on my chin. And a little bit more on that under eye area. So it's oil free, and I can definitely feel that it has no oils in it. The coverage of this is insane. It literally just felt like water or something going onto my skin. But you certainly are getting the cover from it. That's drying down a little bit red, in my opinion. I was in a bit of a rush, as I said in my haul video, when I was picking this stuff up from NYX, and I was between the shades and I didn't have time to kind of examine things out in natural light. So yeah, it's definitely a little bit red, but which is to be expected, I guess, from the shade name Deep Cool. I would probably go for a shade, can't remember the name of the shade below this, but it was definitely a bit more golden than this. This is probably my shade after I've been in the sun. So I will definitely be ordering this shade down from this, I think. The finish of that is really pretty. I'm really enjoying that. So definitely going to go in now to brighten up the middle of my face. And I'm going to go in with Fawn, because it is quite golden. And usually I wouldn't take it so far down my face, but I feel as though I need to compensate for the redness. So I'm definitely going in with a little bit more than I usually would in terms of distance. I would usually keep it to about up there, but now I feel like I really need to brighten up my face, so let's see. I'm going to join up my whole face, so joining up the concealer from that side to that side across my mouth. Brightening up my chin as well. And then we're going to do the forehead. To help that blend around the edges, I'm going to go in with the shade Chestnut, just on the perimeter of where that one reached, the Fawn one reached. And then blend that in as well, just so that it's not as harsh on the edge. But as I usually say, it's going to look quite dramatic on camera, but it's not as dramatic in real life. Okay, so to set all that, going in as per usual with my black Opal medium powder. I take off the excess. I don't do baking with this powder just because I feel like it does make me look quite ashy if I'm not careful, because the pigment in it is quite heavy. It's supposed to be a finishing powder for somebody that complexion, so it has quite a lot of pigment in it. I don't contour my nose, but I do highlight it, so it's kind of like a reverse contour, so just on the bridge. Unless I'm having, like, you know, a really dramatic day out or night out or something, but typically no. Okay, to help that all blend, I'm just going to go over the edge of that with the same brush that I used to apply the foundation. Just so that it's not all lost. I feel like doing blush before contour today. So I'm going to go in with the Sweet Cheeks palette. That's a NYX palette. Grab my blush brush. And I'm going to go in with a mix of these two corner shades right here. They're both pinks, but one. Go with a lighter pink first. Take that up quite high. And then the darker pink just on the lower half portion. Okay, for contour today, I don't have anything from NYX, so I'm going to go in with my Sleek Face Contour Kit in the shade Dark, which you can see I love very much. I've hit pan on it and I'm just kind of scraping around the edges. I just want to finish it up so I can buy a new one, and just taking that into the hollows of my cheeks. A little bit up top. Back into the NYX palette and into this shade right here, that red kind of shade. I'm going to sweep this colour on my lash line. And then in the outer portion, mixing up those two darker colours just on that outer corner. I'll tie that in, and then the terracotta shade right here near the tear duct. Grab your favourite black pencil and use that to tightline under the eye. And also line my waterline. So after the fail that was my doing eyeliner and lashes on camera for you in my Christmas glam video, I'm going to do this off camera, be back in a sec. Okay, so I've lined my eyes and I have on these really pretty wispy lashes on. So now I'm just going to go and do my brow bone highlight. So I'm still using the same palette, and there is a warm gold just here. That's the one I'm going to use to pop a little bit of highlight into my brow bone. And then we're also going to pop a teensy bit into the tear duct area. For highlight, I'm going back into the NYX Sweet Cheeks palette, and there is a really pretty rose gold just there. That's what I'm going to use to highlight with. Kind of a gold with pink undertones. Ooh, popped up on that side, didn't ya? Hello. Then a bit of a Cupid's bow highlight as well. Okay, for lips, I'm using all NYX products, so I'm going in with a NYX lip liner in the shade Currant. I didn't buy this in my haul, I bought another shade. I haven't used this for a while, so I thought I would. It's also a really nice kind of like warm, winey shade. And for lip colour, I'm going into the NYX Liquid Suede in the shade Vintage. You've seen me use this a few times. I really like this colour. A gorgeous purpley mauvey colour. I do want a little bit of balance, so I'm going to go right into the centre of my lip with Colourpop's Beeper. Just dab a teeny bit of that in the middle. Okay, and then finally to finish all that off, I don't have a NYX powder, so I'm just going in with my Mocha powder from Maybelline. And then the last step, of course, is to set all of this. So then finally the NYX matte finish spray is what I'm going to use. Love the mist on this, it's super fine. That will help everything stick together. All right, guys, this is the finished look. What do you think? I am really, really liking it. Love kind of how it all kind of comes together, and I love the kind of warm, berry, ready tones that are there with a mix of the gold. I think it's really, really complemented each other really well. So let me give you a rundown of the product. I really, really like the Ultimate eyeshadow palette. I think the colorway is really pretty, so you get a nice selection, and it is really like a warm neutrals palette. The blendability of this is great, so the matte's blended in really nicely, and just with a bit of a spray of Fix Plus, the shimmer shades kind of really popped. The only thing I would say about this palette, and this is definitely not a criticism just about this palette, but for many other palettes that I've tried that are kind of in that affordable range, that getting the distinction between some of the shades on darker skin can be a little bit harder. So you might have to end up packing a little bit more product on, or working with other shades to really get the pigment how you would want it to come out. I thought this orange shade showed up really, really well, and actually I think performed better than I thought that it would. I really liked that kind of rusty terracotta shade, also really pretty. This shade didn't show up as well as I would have wanted it to. It's kind of like a warm brown. I thought it would have had a little bit more depth, and you saw me have to mix that then with this darker shade here in the corner just to get it to be what I wanted it to be. So I would have liked to see a little bit more richness and depth to that colour. But as I say, that is a challenge with more affordable palettes on darker skin, even when you lay down a base, a lighter base. If you've got lighter skin than me, you would probably see that a lot more than you did on my skin. The only other gripe I think I would have about this palette is that I would have loved to have a black shade in here, because this shade down here, this kind of dark brown, is a bit ashy tone, and I would have liked to see a black maybe to help deepen up some of those colours as well. But otherwise, I think an all-around good palette, and I will keep playing around with it. Love, love, love the shimmer shade. I only used that one I only used that one and that one on my eye, so I will play around with it to see what else can come up. There are a few more shades up there as well. But all around, I would suggest, I think I would recommend this palette, so I really enjoyed that. Quick passing mention to the Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk, which did the job. I really liked how that went down. It was really easy to apply and to blend out, so we'll definitely be just throwing that in my kit and using that all the time. So yes, I recommend that. Okay, now on to the foundation. I was blown away by this foundation. I don't know if it's because I didn't expect so much from it, but it performed beyond my expectations. As you saw, I just put a few drops on my face and then went to blend it out, but it blended out so seamlessly and so beautifully and looked so much like skin in terms of texture that you couldn't really feel it on the skin, so it wasn't heavy or cakey or anything like that. As I said, the colour is probably a little bit cool toned for me, but I will still be keeping this one because, as you can see, I have managed to somehow play around with it to make it work, and it doesn't look too bad. And it actually looks okay, but I will definitely be picking up other shades in this, and I would definitely recommend you go and get this. The hype was real about this. Of course, I picked it up because of Instagram and YouTube hype, but the hype was real, so I would totally recommend that foundation. If you would like me to stock this foundation on Cocoon Beauty, please give me a comment down below and I'll make sure to do that. Drop also if you can and you think you're in a certain shade range, let me know where you are and then I can make sure to pick a few up so that you can grab one. But totally love that. I mentioned this before in my Christmas glam look tutorial, but I really like the Sweet Cheeks palette. I think you get a nice variety of colours, a mix of matte shimmers and also kind of like satin finishes, which is just this one right here. Really pretty. I like how that sat on the skin, and although it looks quite pale, this did show up on my skin, and then I just warmed it up a little bit more with that deeper reddy tone there, so would definitely recommend that as well. So far so good with the NYX setting spray. Loving that, but as I keep saying, I love the fine mist on this, and even if this runs out and I don't repurchase it, I'm definitely keeping the bottle so I can decant other products into this, because I think the mist that comes out of this is just beautiful. But I do like that. I do feel like it does make my makeup last for longer, so I will keep using that. The NYX Angel Veil Primer, I don't know whether I've talked about this on the channel before, but I've always had a bit of a mixed feeling about this. I don't know whether I see a huge difference in terms of pore filling, but I see something. It's called the Skin Perfecting Primer. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say it perfects, but I think it does something. But you can't wear it alone. Of course, that's the thing. You did see the cast that it left on my face. You will have to wear that with a product. But it's meh for me. The lip also turned out really pretty. I don't know, there's not much to say about this. It's a standard plummy pinky lip. As I said, I used the two NYX products, the lip liner, and I used the lip liner and the liquid lip on the full of my lip, and then used Colourpop's Beeper just in the middle to help blend that in. I love this Beeper shade just because it goes with so many different lip colours, because it's not too pink, it's not too peachy, it's kind of somewhere in the middle. It's got enough warmth and brown to it, so it's somewhere in the middle, and it goes with a lot of different colours if you just want to add a little bit of brightness to the middle of your lip. So I mix it almost with everything. I have still got a few, there are still a few of these left on Cocoon Beauty, so make sure you go there and order one if you want one, but I think it's a brilliant multitasking lip colour. Yeah, so all in all, I'm really enjoying this face. I've got a few things to do today, so I'm going to head on out. But I'm hoping that you liked this tutorial. Let me know down below if any of the products particularly caught your eye. Leave me a comment. If you haven't already, as per usual, please make sure to subscribe. And if you've watched the video this far, then make sure to give it a thumbs up so other people know that it's worthwhile watching. Join the Fan Bam if you haven't on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and now Facebook. And I'll see you in my next video, guys. Love you. Bye. Why you wanna say